Tere, alustame BIM Masterclasside veebiseminariga, mis meil täna kavas on. Kõigepealt teen siis eesti keeles lühikese sissejuhatuse, siis järgmine teema on BIM-i õppimise võimalused. Seejärel vaatame üle BIM Masterclasside programmi, mis on siis 2023 aastal olnud väga edukas programm Lätis. Peaaegu 1000 ehitussektori inseneri sai selle läbi treenitud. Ja siis lõpus nagu ikka küsimused ja vastused. Kes meie siis oleme, et BIM Masterclassidest räägib meile Aiga Kallina. Tema siis manageerib BIM Masterclasside süsteemi Lätis ja aitab teil valida õiget programmi just teie ettevõttele. Erik Sviitols räägib siis BIM-i õppimise võimalustest ja tema on siis BIM Solutions Latvia CEO. Ja mina olen tarkvarakonsultant siin Eestis, esindan BIM Solutionsit. Olen üle 2 aasta BIM tarkvaradega tegelenud ja üle 9 aasta olen olnud ehitiste konstruktsioonide projekteerija. Kui teil tekib mingeid küsimusi, siis all võiks olema selline Q&A nupp. Kasutage seda ja me üritame siis vastata kas jooksvalt või siis suurema tõenäosusega pigem lõpus. Kes me oleme, et mida me pakume, millega me tegeleme, et me oleme IT-ettevõte, mis pakub digitaalseid lahendusi ehitussektori produktiivsuse tõstmiseks. Me pakume lahendusi tervele ehituse elukaarele, et alates projekteerimisest kuni halduseni ja muidugi ka kõik, mis seal vahepeal toimub, eks. Tootmine ja ehitus ja eelarvestamine ja kõik selline teema. Ja meie tegevuspiirkond on kogu Baltikum ja ka Gruusia ning Ukraina. Ja need ettevõtted, millest jutt käib, mis meie grupis on siis BIM Solutions SIA, Intelligent BIM Solutions UAB ja Baltic BIM Management, mis on siis tegeleb rohkem ehituse poole BIM koordineerimisega. Ja sellega ma tegelikult annakski üle sõna Erik Sviitolsile.
Hello, can somebody confirm that you can see my screen?
We
and you can hear me? Yes, perfect. So hello everybody from Latvia. My name is Eric, as T briefly mentioned, and I will just briefly go through the how to learn BIM and master it. And well, the thing is, and the reason why why I'm actually looking at this subject is because I've been dealing with BIM from 2007. And you know, when the times pass, at some point in time, you know, the more and more people are getting into the BIM, and you have to sort of figure out what is the best way to give the knowledge to some others, right? Because, you know, the BIM is getting more and more adopted. There's some legislations, at least in Latvia, getting into the market. And for example, in Latvia, since starting from 2025 for category 3 buildings, BIM will be mandatory. So, you know, we have to basically the industry had to adapt and learn BIM and in a sense master it, right? And as always, there's different alternatives. And before we also dig into the master classes and actually starting to teach, we also will investigate what was the alternative, what we actually are missing. So I will go through different alternatives and how you can learn BIM and in a sense master it. And of course, it's your decision and sort of which approach to choose, which sort of track to take. And so first and foremost, it's academic studies, right? So right now, more and more universities providing sort of comprehensive studies, and I'm showing like a master degrees because it's not you know, typically universities right now in a bachelor degree studies typically incorporate BIM already within the curriculum, right? But if you already are specialist, let's say that you're architect, engineer, or cost estimator, or you're working on a construction site or managing schedules and etc. You're not in university right now. So you have to have some options in case you would like to progress yourself into the BIM. So there is opportunities and to study BIM master level. And these three are basically in Europe right now the most recognized study programs for master degree, also available in English. This is actually very important because there are some in Spain. They're actually in Gediminas University in Lithuania also has some master program. I don't think it's called Gediminas University right now. They rename it, but what I'm trying to say is that there is some university programs for master degrees. But if you're thinking about recognition and if you're thinking about globally, then Ziggurat, which is Spain, Middlesex University, which is in UK, and BIM Plus, which is actually developed by Building Smart, which is basically sort of European master in BIM information modeling. These are typical approaches when you can go and study the full master degree. And of course, we always have some pluses and minuses. Well, definitely plus is a proof of education. And more in tenders, it's required to prove that you actually have a BIM knowledge. I'm not that many sure how requirements are set up in Estonia. In Latvia, at least, you have to prove that you have some sort of a knowledge. And of course, we have some different other tools and techniques how to ensure that you have the BIM capabilities. But anyway, so when it comes to academic studies, it's a proof of education. You have a master degree. Typically, educations are very comprehensive and versatile, meaning that you understand like the full scope of the process. And of course, it's accredited and a verified program. So you cannot trust that there were people who went through and ensure that this is very verified. And the minuses is definitely it's quite time consuming. It's several years. It's not always in line with the real life because there's so many things to teach, and then of course you tend to do the case studies, but it's still practice is practice, and sometimes practice match with the market you are operating in, and it's actually relatively expensive. It's actually not that cheap. Yeah, so you have to consider investing money. Second thing is courses and seminars, right? And I'm sure you already know there's Coursera, there's Udemy, there's LinkedIn Learning, there's edX. These are basically just the global platforms in which you can find like a lot of different type of courses, different length. There's a lot of events. There is quite a lot of content, and also there's seminars as well. Like we are doing actually quite a lot of different educational seminars, a little bit more Latvia, but actually you can take a look in YouTube channel. It also did specifically more involved in structural engineering. So these are additional sources in which you can learn BIM or some aspects of BIM, and of course there's pluses and minuses. So regarding pluses, we can find a lot of concise information on the topic. So there's like a lot of information, and it doesn't always require a lot of time and financial resources. For example, in Udemy, when there's like a discount, you can get like a course for like 20 euros, like 15 euros. And also for some courses, there's a European support. At least the last year in Latvia, we had an opportunity to get some support. I'm sure you can find something in Estonia, maybe or maybe not, but still there's financial possibilities. And regarding minuses, well, information not always sort of sufficient to put that in practice, because maybe you've noticed these type of courses tend to a lot of sort of people from Asia are creating them, the content, and not always relevant to the market that we are operating in. But of course, I'm just sort of, it's not always from Asia, but there's like a little bit more content from that area. But still, it's a global knowledge. It's very overall, and it's not always linked to the marketing practice things. And of course, it's a very crucial thing. It requires self-criticism when evaluating content. I've actually been using multiple different courses throughout my process of learning BIM, and I can say that sometimes it's very sketchy what you can see, and sometimes it's not. So you have to try to evaluate and be very self-critical. And yeah, and quite often courses are unstructured. They're very narrow and look at one topic, which not always give you the full picture. Yeah, the next thing actually, so we are going a little bit deeper into practical things. I'm not going to go very deep into masterclasses because I will take go much deeper. And the point of the masterclass, like in general terms, is to give as much practical information as possible in the shortest period of time. And the point is to give it from the guys who are literally working on a daily basis to the others. So it's like a transferring knowledge, like practical knowledge. And if you think about, in the Middle Ages, when you were like a shoeman, you literally gave all the competencies how to create shoes from one generation to others. So that's basically the main concept behind masterclass. That's it. So the best guy we can find who does, for example, the best cost estimation with the BIM, and this is the guy who's teaching all the other cost estimators the BIM because he's a cost estimator, not because he's a BIM guy, because he has very deep knowledge in how to estimate costs, how to create budgets, how to create work breakdown structure, how to sort of go deeper into the cost analysis, etc. And specifically, those guys are the ones who's typically teaching in the master classes, because BIM, in a sense, is just a tool. It's not like BIM, like a technology, is a tool, gives more capabilities to specialists. It's not vice versa. So anyway, yeah, of course, there's some pluses and minuses. So obviously, so the plus is very concentrating knowledge and practical skills. Trainees are always practitioners, and there is a possibility to get European support. And right now, for example, in Latvia, we're in between different European funds, and I'm sure it's a little bit similar to in Estonia, but still, again, there is a possibility. Of course, minus this, it's relatively long compared to courses. It takes like 1 to 3 days. It's actually very intensive. So sometimes it's you get out of the master classes. It's not easy to take because there's a lot of information. And in order to participate in master classes, you have to be you have to understand the field. If you're a BIM guy who will go to learn some cost estimation or 4D planning, it will be very hard for you if you don't understand the principle for developing schedule, right? So there is some certain limitation to master classes because you have to understand the field in order to participate. Otherwise, you will not extract as much value as you could. So maybe better to start with the courses and then progress with that. And we sometimes even create specific trainings before the master classes to ensure that everybody on the same level. That's the example of scheduling. We have this 4D masterclass. We have created custom level in order to ensure that everybody can understand the planning principles around, because there's also a lot of theory and practice behind that before you actually go and move into the 4D masterclasses. So anyway, much more about the masterclasses will be from Aiga. And last but not least, of course, self-education. There's so many different materials, and I'm just listed in my opinion, very comprehensive and also quite good materials. Well, for sure, if you haven't looked into the CoBIM, I'm recommending to do it. CoBIM, yeah. This is a common BIM requirements. This is the document that I was starting to explore BIM area and all. It is developed in Finland, which is very close to you in Estonia. I'm sure you have noticed. And so that's for me, it was the beginning. And actually, one additional thing which was quite surprising for me, it's Rail Baltica BIM documentation. BIM design guidelines in Rail Baltica, it's very comprehensive and nicely written. And we've been executing and we've been participating, also executing BIM requirements in multiple different projects in Riga Central Station, some part of it. In Riga Airport Station, we are taking role of main BIM managers. We also been participating in several design phases, and you kind of realize that actually those design guidelines are very giving that BIM and infrastructure is relatively not that mature as in the buildings, right? But it gives very nice understanding how you can apply BIM and extract as much value as possible. Of course, there's the EU BIM handbook, which is also translated in Estonian. And also, I'm sure you know that when it comes to EU BIM task group, that it's actually led by Estonian, which is actually also kind of nice. And well, when it comes in general from self-education, there's always AI available to us, and you know, it's been a year since available to us, which means that we can get much more information. But again, we have to be very critical about information we read. And for those who have, you know, everybody knows ChatGPT, but for those who haven't yet found that there is another chat very similar to ChatGPT, actually a little bit more powerful when it comes to like comparing the metrics, but I'm not going to go deep into that. But it's Bard. Bard is basically Google AI, which has a little bit more capabilities than even ChatGPT 4. You know, so yeah, so take a look, just write prompts, and one thing, be very critical. So anyway, when it comes to self-education, pluses and minuses. First, it doesn't require really financial resources. There's so many different freely available resources right now on the internet. You can just go deep dive into so many different BIM aspects, and yeah, and you know, there's possibility to regulate the level of learning. You can do it like on a daily basis. You can do it like 1 hour per day, 1 hour per month, and etc. And of course, the minus is there's no accompanying document. It's very hard to prove that you've learned. And actually, when you even think about, you know, even courses have their own certifications, right? Of course, master houses have their own certifications. Obviously, like a master degree has it. But when you do self-educate yourself, it's very hard to prove, right? And it's actually requires very, very, very high level of discipline. So for you to maintain the steady pace of educating yourself into some matter of BIM, it takes tremendous amount of discipline. And yeah, it's not easy, to be honest. And actually, to be honest, it's very time consuming, because you have to collect information, evaluate, and sometimes, you know, you go into deep, like so many information, so you not always understand what exactly you want, what is relevant, what's not, you know, what is practical, how to practically apply it with your read, and etc. So yeah, so there's a lot of different challenges for self-education. So yeah, so there you have it. So there's like a 4 typical ways on how to educate yourself in master BIM. So it's going into the master degree, it's digging into the courses, taking master classes, and of course you can always go and do self-educate yourself. Okay, yeah, that's about it from me, and Aiga will continue to go then deeper and deeper into master classes. So that's why we're here.
Yeah. Hi everybody, thank you, Eric. So at this point, you should see my screen and my presentation. If not, please note me.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so in this section, I will explain in more detail about our master classes and how you and your company can learn BIM principles and the softwares used in practical BIM. So I hope everybody is okay with English, but in any case, our colleague Tiit will be here with us until the end of the seminar, so you can feel free to ask questions in Estonian as well. So about the masterclasses. At any time, you can find the information about our masterclasses on our website. As we are starting to go internationally, we have also translated our webpage, so you can see all the information there. Yeah, so I will start by looking back a little bit at our history and experience so far. We have started organizing BIM masterclasses 4 years ago, and now we have trained leading Latvian companies and companies from neighbor countries as well, from Estonia and Lithuania. And in total, we have held more than 85 masterclasses and trained more than 900 construction professionals. And overall, we are constantly looking for new opportunities and creating different kind of projects to help professionals to learn BIM. For example, last year, we also implemented a project together with the Latvian Ministry of Economics and developed 11 training programs. And through the whole year, we organized courses that provided basic knowledge for all construction specialists. Organizing any master classes, we stick to 4 principles. First one is practicality. Our trainings are mostly practical with real life examples, tasks, case studies, And in any of our masterclasses, you will have the opportunity to practically work with BIM softwares. So you can start using them in your day-to-day job right away after the training. Second one is personal approach. To ensure this practical aspect, we organize groups up to 9 people so that the lecturer can help fully understand the teaching material for each participant. And the third one is competency. Masterclasses are led by professionals who are working in BIM every day, and that also means that the teachers are up to date in this field. And the fourth one is accessibility. We can adapt to companies' needs and organize trainings in person or remotely. Also, our premises here in Latvia are equipped with everything we need for quality learning processes, but we are also open to coming to your office to implement our trainings. And so what kind of programs can we offer? We recommend starting from basics. We have developed 4 topics that cover basic knowledge of BIM processes. So the first one is Introduction to BIM, which will help you to understand BIM concepts, processes, project roles. The second training could be Common Data Environment, standards, recommendations, requirements, and its implementation in construction projects. A common data environment is an essential basis for effective and clear communication between project stakeholders, so you can keep them up to date of all the changes and responsibilities. The third training would be Client Information Requirements, master plans to gain knowledge how to purchase quality BIM service and get a deeper understanding of the client's vision and needs within the BIM project. And the fourth would be viewing of the BIM model, or in other words, how to use tools to view BIM model, access the information you need, and that BIM model helps, and what to ask from the designers to get the best quality possible. And after the basics, we offer pre-developed programs. Here you can see all of the programs that we have at the moment for project management, construction, design, engineering, architecture, and so on. And we offer also the possibility for companies to contact us with their needs, so we can tailor the programs specifically for their team. We also offer hands-on training on BIM softwares specifically that you use. Usually all of these masterclasses are 1 to 3 days, like full days, 9 to 5, and very intense and practical work is attended. So some of the examples that I could mention about these tailored programs, for example, we have organized a training for a company that has just purchased Tekla structures, for example, and we trained the team to use the software. So we tailored the program starting from the basics and to the practical work of the program usage. Another example could be we have developed a program for companies that are implementing BIM, implementing a BIM project, and the team has no practical experience in BIM. So we developed the training program based on professionals involved and the software's use. Or maybe a company is just starting to implement BIM in their work environment, so we tailor the training program starting from the basics of BIM to practical use of BIM softwares. So overall, we can adapt to your company needs. You just have to contact us and we will tailor the program depending on what's the situation. And here also you can see some of the most popular softwares that our training programs include, for example, Tekla structures, Solibri, Fieldwire, Lubel, Rhino, and so on. And addition to all of this, as I already mentioned, we are continuously developing ourselves and looking for new ways for companies to better learn and practice BIM. And one of the projects we are currently applying for is Erasmus+, which will give companies that have attended our masterclasses the opportunity to go on exchange visits, for example, to the head offices of software developers, or invite experts from abroad who will have international experience in the use of BIM and best practices. All travel costs and organization itself is covered. You just have to get on the plane and receive all the experience. And this opportunity will be available already from the summer, and detailed information will be provided only to the companies that have attended our trainings. So yeah, shortly from my side, that's it. It's time for questions. And Tiit, could you please check if we have any questions at the moment? And while we are waiting, I would also like to mention that we are open to have like an online meeting with you, for you to better understand the necessity of implementing BIM and yeah, any other steps, just to understand what are the steps to implement the BIM. So Tiit, do we have any questions at the moment?
I see that there is no questions, and I would like to elaborate one thing about Erasmus+. So one of the intentions and goals for us to persuade this Erasmus+ program is to, one thing is give the opportunity to everybody who's working with us to exchange knowledge internationally, and also cover all the costs, which is actually quite important. The second thing is we intend to create and develop network of all basically best of the best BIM specialists available in Europe, and basically in a zone which Erasmus+ cover, which is Europe and some additional zones. And also when we will locate them, when we will sort of understand their capabilities, we will make available trainings which will allow you to teach like best BIM specialists from Spain, from UK, from Netherlands, and etc. So yeah, so there's like actually two different projects and approaches. And one additional thing that we plan to persuade regarding Erasmus+ is we have understood and sort of identified that it's not always easy to understand what BIM requirements, how to approach BIM project in each and different countries. For example, well, we've been digging into the Estonian approach for BIM for quite a while now, so we understand it. But let's say that a random company from Lithuania would like to participate in some design tenders, and it's not always that evident and clear what exactly mean to participate in BIM project, what do you have to deliver, and etc. So we are looking into developing sort of way and educational materials so that everybody. So let's say that you, a company from Estonia, would like to participate in a project in Lithuania, and there will be like a full guide with manuals and translated materials on what it means to be and deliver BIM deliverables in Lithuania. What legislation, what requirements, where you can find information, what structure, what roles are common in Lithuania, etc. And we intend to do that in the Baltic Sea region. So basically make available to everybody and sort of make more democratized the BIM world, so that everybody would benefit from BIM capabilities and technologies, which basically allow you to be more productive and deliver better quality projects, and also construction work as well. Because one thing that maybe is significantly different for us, we are very much into the construction processes and then made as well. Because BIM is very much recognized in the design phase, and not always it's getting applied in a construction phase. If you go a little bit deeper into our sort of program that we offer in the BIM Masterclasses, we actually, more of them is more inclined to construction phase. There's like 4D, 5D cost estimations, how to control progress, how to ensure that everything is built according to BIM, how to deliver digital twin, common data environment for the construction phase, and etc. And we even have developed like a set of different master classes as a huge course for construction companies to overtake, in order to fully equip with the knowledge and technologies, and also some documentation to be able to fully deliver BIM deliverables during the construction phase. So yeah, well, Tiit, maybe you have something to say in close.
Yes, I will finish in Estonian.
Okay.
No siis lühidalt veel korraks eesti keeles ka üle, jah, et vahet ei ole, kes sa ehitussektoris oled, eks, et projekteerija, ehitaja, tellija, haldaja, et meil on kõigile midagi pakkuda, ja kindlasti midagi õpetada, nii et võtke julgelt ühendust ja räägime, saame kokku ja kõik võidame sellest. Vot, nii et minu poolt on kõik ja aitäh kuulamast.